G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good and excellent in your part of the world. Watch review today of the Timex Ironman, and this is reference TW2W94000. It's a recent release, and these are what they're calling, I think, fits into the category of their modern vintage, and whilst not necessarily adding anything new to the range in the sense of functions or tech, these are, I think, my favourite type of Ironman, the design, the case body, etc. But more on that in a moment. Let's just pause and zoom in a fraction. Yeah, so there's our watch for today, just up and a little bit more up and close so that you can see it. These retail at £85 here in the UK, but if you sign up for the newsletter, you get the 15% welcome discount, which brings it down nicely. Key speckage on these, then, they are 38 mils across. It's about 11 mils deep, but you probably need to add a little bit more depending on the strappage that you use. North to south, well, it's kind of not really an intelligent north to south, but from point here to here, it's about 60 mils. But again, that's going to be to the edge of your wrist, again, but not more on the fit and wear in a second. The lugs are approximately 22 mils for future strappage. And then you get 100 meters worth of watery goodness as stated down here. Functionality is standard on these 30 lappers. But one of the things to note just before I start getting into that is got a really very good clear beep sound to it, letting you know that you're either pressing something inadvertently or you know what you're doing. And obviously you run through your functions here with your 8 o'clock button. As I say, I do like that beep sound. It's very, very clear. You can hear it from distance. So again, so you know, as I say, inadvertently if you're pressing something. But yeah, so what have you got on here? You've got a 100-hour chrono, which is rather nice. 100-hour chrono, I think, yes, so certainly for those grueling sessions. You've got 30 lap memory. You've then got 3 time zone tracking, 24-hour countdown, 3 alarms, etc., etc. Sorry, I can't see through the reflection on the camera here. The case body then is a resin. It's a hard resin, and again, very solid, well built, doesn't flex at all. You do then get, with not much AR on it, an acrylic crystal up at the top. And on this strap, it weighs in at then just 48 grams. So super, super light, very, very easy on wrist as a consequence. Up at the top then at the 2 o'clock, you then get your Indiglo, which looks like this in the dark. I think it's very, very clear, very, very legible. Again, really like the way that it pops those digits. And again, also you get your nice, your logo is also nicely highlighted. Note the digital display on this, as you can see in my hands here, is very, very clear, good from different angles, and you don't get that sort of tilt angle distortion that's quite common with Casios. You really need to get this to, you know, an almost silly angle before you start getting that distortion. As I say, from most other angles, you're getting very, very, very clear vision on this, which is nice. Personally, I like the bright orange colors on these. I think, again, you know, the orange, black and white aspect of it, you know, nice and clear, allowing you to see your buttons from a distance, you know, very, very, as I say, very user friendly in that sense. However, if these bright orange is a little bit too bright for you, there's a huge variety within the Ironman range. Specifically, this one has a darker, cooler brother that is in black and blue, obviously a lot more subtle. But the range itself then extends out to all types, including the expedition types. So again, you've got lots to choose from within the Ironman range, and also some of the older ones there that are still available for sale. But as I said on the channel before, my brain sort of falls back to this runner's style that is sort of slightly narrowish. It's very lightweight, and again, big clear buttons on the side, again, just making it so easy. So, you know, it's a no-brainer. You know, don't need to think. You're going to be grabbing in there. You know where you're at with it. It was super easy, super quick. I do like that a lot. The logo as well, the Iron Man on here, synonymous with the sporting events and also the watch, and nice that they've kept that recognizable. I think the weight, ease of use, and the logical menu paths, and the lack of the nonsense Bluetooth make it a contender, perhaps, for one of the best budget sport use watches that I think we've got. Way better, for example, in comparison to the Seiko runners. My preference always this one. We've then got a distressed sort of recycled stuff material strap here, and again I think these straps are then going to be washable. You then get a nice branded and brushed buckle down here. Sorry, let me get rid of that 1 second. Yeah, so fit on wrist again. Yeah, fit on wrist. There it is. My wrist is around 7¼ inch, just for reference. They sit up a little bit high, but again, I think because of the weight and the width, etc., that really doesn't make too much of a difference. And it, you know, as I say, lightweight, so lightweight, it feels very, very comfortable indeed. Notice I've got it here fitting quite loosely. I can get a proper finger under there, and the specific reason for that is that if I cinch it tight so that I don't want it moving around on wrist, I do find, and you can see there how it depresses in here, I do find that wearing it on a single pass style like this, that what it does is it cinches those end lugs quite sort of tightly into my wrist, and it presses right on the tendon under here, and that does feel a little bit unpleasant. So I found that, yeah, I do need to wear it a little bit lighter. There's another option to this. 1 second. Yeah, so what I was suggesting is that the other option that I found is that actually wearing it with the strap elsewhere, I find that it hugs the wrist so much nicer and so much more comfortably, and I really do prefer that a lot. However, you need to have really very, very small wrists in order for that to happen. So you may end up looking for another alternate strap. I'm kind of thinking maybe, you know, a two-piece Velcro or a longer Velcro look and hoop strap might be option, because, as I say, for me there, it just fits so much nicer on wrist. One of the things to be aware of is that there are no keepers or holders on that side. So what does happen is that, you know, it slips off quite quickly and quite easily when you're taking it off. So do bear that in mind if you're out in the bush, you know, doing your ultra marathons or something. It's going to slip off quite easily. But as I say, like that, I find that the fit on wrist is really, really nice. I just find it hugs the wrist so much nicer. So I may need a little bit more time finding the right strappage option on here, just to see, just to get it working for me. Where else did I want to go? 1 second. Yeah, so the other thing that I was thinking of is that obviously when you've got these nice clear hooks on the end here, I think it could be an additional option. You know, you can attach this to your jacket, your clothing very easily as well. If you didn't want to wear it on wrist and you wanted it to be closer to your face, or, as I say, attached to something like your bike, I think again that's going to work very well there. Notice also that you've got spring bars in there. And I'm thinking that, yeah, you're going to have the back plate release to get those off. I'll have a fiddle with those ones later, just to see what happens. I did quite like the design there of the back plate here. Simple, clean, a little bit retro again. As I say, I just thought it looked quite nice. Let's just zoom in a fraction more on that dial, just so that you can see as well that how crisp and clear those digits are. As I say, for me, that's you know, Timex, I mean, again, I'm not a massive fan of the brand. I just think that this is what they do best. And again, it's just super crystal clear, that display. Very impressive indeed. The other thing, of course, that I like about it is that I like the fact that they've kept the name of calling it Iron Man and not calling it Iron Person. Probably a little bit like calling Iron Brew aluminium brew or something. Again, I just don't think it has the same ring to it. As I say, I need to have a play around with it, see what I can find to do with strap alternatives on this one. But as I say, I really like the concept of these, the design of these. As I say, they look good and they're very, very functional indeed. But anyway, over to you guys. What do you reckon to this one? Look forward to reading your comments down below. Thanks as always for your time and for your view. And we'll catch you in the next watch vid. Cheers now.